Hey everyone, Steve here, and today we are in for something completely different. I decided to download and install Fusion 360 and have a good look at it. I see lots of content about it out there. I know a lot of people use it, and I wanted to understand why they choose to use it and also figure out the tool for myself to see how worthwhile it is. And I have to say, right off the bat, I'm pretty impressed. For less than $500, it does quite a lot. Now, this is my first 4 hours of using the tool. That's it, 4 hours. I downloaded it, I installed it, I watched just a handful of videos on how to get started, and I wanted to see if my deep knowledge of other CAD systems could assist me in using Fusion 360, and this is where I am at right now. Before we actually get into it, if you would do me a favor, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It really helps me a lot. It gives me the motivation to do more of this kind of stuff, as well as like the video, share it with somebody you think may get something out of it, and comments. I really enjoy comments, good ones, bad ones, everything in between. So please say something, let me know you're alive, and let's get into it. So on screen is an adjuster base. I've used this part for years in various CAD systems. It's just a basic test to see whether or not I can drive that CAD system, mechanical design obviously. And it's a very interesting part because the way that I choose to design it is with various bodies that are Boolean together. Now, some CAD systems that I've used over the years did not have those Boolean functions. Let's say the old Wildfire, like Creo now has Booleans. And I've used, let's see, SolidWorks. I've used Solid Edge a little bit. I've used Inventor a fair amount, believe it or not, I have, and it's pretty good. And then, non-mechanical design stuff, Alias, Isom Classic, that type of thing. So I have a broad scope of experience. And of course, my nearly 3 decades on NX and my nearly 2.5 decades on CATIA V5. So I wanted to get into this and see what it is I could do with such a lovely part. And first things first, for anybody that uses a different CAD system and going into a new CAD system, or even, and I'll relate this back to NX with the Sketcher, or even 3D experience with some of the new interactions, it takes time to learn those interactions. It just does. And from what I gather, from what I understand, for me personally, this is me, I can speak about me because I know me relatively well. Yes, it's frustrating because, when I come in here, I'm so used to my NX interactions where I click and I just want to snap to a view, right? So I'm going to long press my third mouse button and then I'm going to swipe left. And boy, I'm so used to that. And here I find myself undoing things. So I have to get used to not doing that interaction. Otherwise, I'm setting myself back. So to be fair, I'm using my super old Space Mouse. Again, I've had it for a very, very long time, and it still works. There's no reason for me to get rid of it. So it's helped me out a lot. Now, this alone, I would say, has saved my bacon because the frustrations of learning how to use the mouse and moving the data around on screen, I think for me it's probably the most aggravating thing overall because I'm so used to the way I interact with the CAD system. Even with all the experience I have between NX and CATIA, if I've been using one a lot and I go back to the other, then I have to remember, oh, wait a minute, I can't do that here. I have to do it this way. Oh, I can't do that here. I have to do it this way on this one. So it goes back and forth. So from my own personal experience, what I'm gathering is when people use any new tool, it's going to be frustrating at first because muscle memory. Muscle memory is an extremely powerful thing. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject, and we're talking about Fusion 360. And what I find about it is that it's actually really good. It's less than $500 for a year of this tool, and the amount of stuff that you can do with it is really impressive. And the way that it's broken down, it's fairly straightforward. You have your solids, you can create surfaces, you have meshes, right? STLs, that kind of thing. You have sheet metal, plastic, you can manage the data, bill of materials, and then you have utilities. Now, I haven't gotten into all these things, but for $500, you can nest, you can 3D print, various other utilities, inspections, that kind of thing. So, if I go into mesh, I can create and work with and do all sorts of neat stuff with meshes for less than $500. And then if I go into surface, under surface, notice I have create form, sub-D modeling. And I have to admit, I played around with that sub-D modeling a little bit, and it's nothing remarkable, but this is like, I'm not joking, a couple of minutes poking around for the first time and not really even understanding what I'm doing. And it was relatively easy to make those shapes. I'd say easier than a few of the other tools that I've used. Just the way the interface works and you interact with it, it makes a lot of sense. Very impressive. Now, when we get into the actual solid modeling side of the world, it's pretty straightforward, and it does lend itself well to the way that I prefer to work, and that's setting up construction elements like datums. Like I have all these lovely little datums that I've set up, and then tying my geometry to that datums in order to build what I feel is a very parametric model. Now, in NX, I use datums heavily. In CATIA, I use datums heavily, even when I'm doing Class A surfacing, right? Even when I'm using NURBS models and functions and all sorts of other stuff, I use datums a lot. Datum axes, lines, and I find them to be extremely useful as far as references to frame things out. Now, I haven't gone into assemblies, and I know there's ways that I can go in there when I make a new solid via extrude, whether or not it's going to be down here a new body or cut, intersect, or a new component. So just poking around and nosing around and understanding what that terminology is to an extent, and maybe how they're using it, lends itself to, all right, well, I have all this experience. Can it possibly? Yes, it can be. Remember, we're humans. Math is math. There's only so many ways things get done. And how we define shapes, NURBS. Well, sub-D models are based on NURBS. Like if you go into an actual face off a sub-D model, you'll see the NURBS of it. And that's something I'll talk about in another video. But, then you have your meshes, STLs. That's really about it. Really, we're humans, right? There's only so many ways to define these shapes and so many ways to do these things. My knowledge from other CAD systems carries across. It's quite literally understanding how to use this stupid thing, right? Your mouse. Right? How do I use my mouse? That is the biggest point of contention and frustration. Now, of course, there are nuances within the CAD tool, but I have to admit, Fusion 360 for less than $500 a year is really good, because it'll even do things like, okay, I'm going to put on a fillet. I'm going to pick this edge to place my fillet on it. I'm going to drag that out. And then I have this other little handle here to control and modify, select. What's that? All right, well, that's something different. Now I'm going to grab this and drag it. And just like that, notice I have this weight. So this allows me, with a tool that has, all these various capabilities, to put in basically a conical shaped fillet edge blend for $500. That's pretty remarkable. It'll even do things like, let me go ahead and shrink this a little bit. Let me pick this edge down here. Now this is one of those nuances where, all right, well, I have something picked and I've entered in a value. I got to go in there and pick using the control to now, notice when I hold the control key down, it goes back to selection because I've entered in a number and it's doing the preview. So the control is, telling it. And this is the neat part about it. I mean, look at that. it automatically put in this smoothed out corner because I have this tangency weight applied. And the only way to really apply that corner, at least for Fusion 360, is to put in that kind of blend corner. It does it. So stuff like that I find very impressive. I remember when these tools were first introduced into NX and CATIA years and years ago. The math exists, somebody developed it, now it's just introducing it into these other CAD systems, and it is there. So this tells me that this can create some pretty good surfaces, right? If we actually get into the surface tool and I start messing around with it, which I'll do another day, but this will actually allow me to create some interesting shapes for a tool that costs less than $500. I know I say it over and over again because it's impressive. You know, I just got my bill for my yearly because I have a Mach 3 in NX, and just to maintain my Mach 3 license in NX for this year, it's going to cost me almost $10,000 just to have that license, right? That's not buying it. That's just the yearly maintenance cost. Almost $10,000 for a Mach 3 license. Now, that's NX, right? That does all sorts of other things that this really doesn't do, but you know, the large management of assemblies and some of the other surfacing tools and various other parts of that just absolutely incredible tool. I understand why it is expensive like that, but to take and say, well, the modeling side and even the cam side and even some of the surfacing side and the sheet metal tools and plastic rules that are specifically set up for that type of fabrication are automatically straight away here in the system. Man, this is great. So the kind of the point behind it is from somebody that has been using these super high-end CAD systems. I'd say probably the two most premier CAD systems that anybody has to offer anywhere, and comparing it to what Fusion 360 has, I have to say I am extremely impressed. And for the makers out there that want to get into making things, right, that want to get into, all right, well, I got a 3D printer or a couple of these things. How do I design this stuff? Well, I would strongly recommend something like this because, again, it is very inexpensive. And after the sale of a handful of some of the things that you've made, you've got your licensing costs covered. There are things connected to the cloud. There are various other things that you can do with this tool that I have just barely broached, right? I can insert a canvas and images, decals. Look at that. All sorts of stuff. I have configurations. I can do my assemblies. Again, that cost is ridiculously inexpensive for this tool. Now, would I use this if I were an actual, let's say, shop doing fabrication, maybe getting into some more, like, say, elegant shapes, a bit more complexity? I'd have I have to really think about that because there are some really nice cam tools that are available, again, for a relatively low cost. But, at some point I could see where the limits are. There are limits that, like when I pick a thing in the tree, okay, here's my body, but, this body is a combination of several other bodies. If I run this through and play that, you'll note what happens, right? It's going to go through, it's going to play the sketches, it's going to play the bodies, my blending, edge fillets, additions, adding in more datums, and so on, and then uniting it because it does have those features and capabilities. Okay, so it does a lot of those things. I can mimic easily the subtractive process for machine parts. I could easily do sheet metal because it's got sheet metal right there. To some extent, plastic parts. I haven't played around with this, but it's got webbing and ribbing tools and all sorts of other stuff that lend themselves to plastic parts. I'm going to guess that there's got to be something in here for even rules to avoid sinks and all sorts of other stuff would be my guess. If not, it'd be very easy to input based on that. Now, Are there a lot of things lacking? From what I can tell, yes. Some things are a little bit tricky to find. Again, that's just based on how I like to work. And there are some interactions that I wish were improved upon. Again, 4 hours. And this isn't the only part that I built. This is just the one that I've just done most recently. I did some sheet metal parts that I use. I've done about 3 parts in about 4 hours. And I could honestly say that seriously, thoroughly impressed by Fusion 360. I'm going to play around with it a bit more over the next month because it's a free trial and see what I come up with. But I really recommend it for any maker that wants to get into the makerspace. Now, there are free tools that are available. There are things like blenders. Blender's an incredible tool, but something like that is STL based. I'm a big fan of using actual geometry, not a mesh of points and triangles overlaid to make it look like geometrical elements, topographical things. So Blender definitely has its place, but for somebody that's in the makerspace, for somebody that wants to start a little business and get things going, I could see this being an incredible starting point, a really, really good starting point for those people. So, like I said, I'll do a little bit more, probably talk about this again 1 or 2 more times just to get it out of my system. But I have to say, Autodesk, you did a really good job, and I'm very impressed for such an inexpensive tool. Well done.